let's get this party started. All right. My name is Brian Olivard, Atlanta's Real Tall Realtor. I am a broker in both Georgia and Tennessee. And originally from New Orleans, I have deemed myself the party boy of real estate. It comes from just my background, but also I have a minor in hospitality, restaurant, and tourism, and then also my major was in psychology, and then went to get my master's in clinical social work. So navigating, people's happiness through celebration has been a massive part of my business and my success. I'm sure right now, as we're moving into the holiday season, everybody's kind of getting into their party season, trying to satisfy the need to make sure 2024 is great through client appreciation parties, pie events, what happened in Thanksgiving. And so I'm going to give you a few other ideas that have kind of been successful for us. So today's, we're going to talk about partying your way to 250K. Let me just get this up and running, guys. Can you all see my screen? Awesome. All right. So like I said, I've been in the business for, I started in New Orleans, Louisiana. I've been in the business for a little over 15 years. I run a company with my husband, and we've been putting on parties for anything that'll allow us to have a party, including recruiting. So kind of diving into that, how I started in the party, using that as a sphere, a source, a lead source, and a lead pillar, was agent to agent referral. So I've been in the Tom Ferry ecosystem for a while, but even outside of that, I also wanted to network. I like to travel, and it seems that people that I gravitate towards are people that are also in, the trenches with us, doing real estate and trying to be entrepreneurs and better our businesses and really grow as entrepreneurs and individuals. So one of the things that we've done, and that has been able to be spread through 5 different markets now. We're in Savannah. My home market is Atlanta. We're also in North Georgia. We're in Athens, and we're also in Chattanooga. And to be continued on where those are going to. But hosting parties and events has allowed me the opportunity to network with like-minded people. And so both myself and Jessica Forrester, who also is on this call, we started a broker to broker, coast to coast, with agents doing the most, Summit Super Social, and that has led to a major source of our business, which is agent to agent referral. So the reason how we got to that is the Summit Super Social Party. About 33% of our year is transactions that come from Tom Ferry ecosystem and the networks that we, the masterminds, very similar to this. So if you haven't dove into this as a lead pillar, I highly recommend you do it. It's probably one of the most satisfying and gratifying parts of the lead generation process. And it doesn't even feel like lead generation, because these have become friends, family. Christina was joking that Jessica Forrester and I have, we're a family. I call her my much older sister. She loves it when I call her that. And the reason it came to be that is we have kind of grown from babies up till where we're, continuing to grow our businesses. She was the first person I met in the Tom Ferry ecosystem. And so we've just kind of aligned together, and we throw ideas out there, things that she's great at, I'm not, and I'm great at everything. So I just really am there to help her in life. That's really my goal. So, but anyway, these events.
Oh my gosh.
Let's mute that microphone, Jessica Forrester. Thank you. And we don't need any feedback for the peanut gallery. Anyway, y'all. So we're up to about 800 RSVPs. Now, how did we do that? So let's dive into, you don't just say, hey guys, come have a drink. Now, the first event that we threw was in Anaheim. It was at the Tom Ferry Summit, which was in August. And we did it around this hotel. We had no idea what the hotel looked like. We didn't know if it was, a dump. We really didn't know, but we knew that they had space. So we found this space that was willing to go ahead and allow us to bring our people in. So I didn't know a ton of people. Jessica and I, we were fairly new to the ecosystem. So how do you build from just, I think we initially did 200 people in attendance all the way to where we're now? Well, there's a few factors that go into that, and it takes a village. So kind of relying on the ecosystem itself to do that. is pretty important. Hold on, I'm missing a slide here. So the first thing that we did was, we picked a theme. You never want to not have a theme. A dinner party that doesn't have a theme is just a dinner, guys. And that's kind of like my biggest rule, and I think it's on one of my slides later. So we did a open house. It was across in Anaheim. I'm not a Disney person, but it was across the street from Disney World. So we had all of the hosts be Disney castles, and we did an open house, and every person that came through, they grabbed a token, which was a character, and you had to go find your person to earn drink tickets. So like for me, I had Aladdin's castle or Jasmine's castle. And so Jafar and everybody, they had to come up and they go, oh, tell me about your house. And I'm like a 7, sand oasis with, the paradise with palm trees and whatever. And if it was a fit, then you got to like talk to those people in an immediate fashion. That went from 200 people to the next year. We did like a wicked theme that was like coming to, I believe we said going to get brains and courage and all the things that are based around that. And we start promoting this 2 months in advance and really start kind of telling people where to come. And we did an ice bar one time in Vegas, and it was network and chill. So we always theme the parties, and it just kind of grew from there. Ton of past client events, like I mentioned. Mardi Gras, being a New Orleans boy, I started this business in Atlanta. I knew not a soul. And when I moved here, I was on a team. I had a small Popeyes fried chicken and 2 king cakes was all that I had with the party. And then obviously some drinks. And kind of giving people the background of my New Orleans. You can't get king cakes, and anyone that says they can outside of New Orleans, it's just it's a coffee cake at that point. So I had them shipped in, and everybody on Mardi Gras Day eats Popeye's fried chicken. Seems very basic and simple, didn't cost me a ton. Then that next year, when it really escalated, I had to get somebody else to go drive the chicken over because it greased up all the windows in somebody's car, and I sure as heck wasn't having it do it to my car. And that party just continued to take off. Even during, so consistency is going to be key. And I'm going to get into some of these bullet points in a minute. But even during the pandemic, people expect this party. This is one party that I have that people are consistently asking about. They're telling their friends in a referral networking way. And it's something that has grown year over year. We do it at a different place every time. But even during the pandemic, we sent out invitations that said, see you soon. It was a Mardi Gras mask, and we put a little confetti inside of it. That way they were remembering the party and us. Because even though we couldn't be face to face, we were trying to make sure that we were staying in touch with everybody in that same way. We did a Pride night for some of our people as well. And then we do seasonal meetups. I've been Buddy the Elf, 7-foot tall man being Buddy the Elf is the real tall realtor. It's a good time, and also seem to get more pictures and laughs that way. We rented out a movie theater at that point. And so I would say probably the majority of our business comes from past client and referral based business. And this is just an easy way to get more business into your pockets. We also use it for recruiting. We do coffee and croissants. We find that we do a ton of educational stuff, but one of the big things is if you can allow agents, if you're running a team, you're growing a team, or you're recruiting for, the brokerage or whatever that is, we like to talk, right? Is there an agent on this call that doesn't like to hear themselves speak? Right? Okay. So we all do. But then at that point, we're going, oh, I do that. I know how to do that. And all of, if you come and you start collaborating with people, we do this coffee and croissants, and it's always just a little bit less than come learn about, the new GREC contracts and special stip changes and things like that. So we try to do that. And then we just ask people like, where are your pain points and things of that nature. But we just try to make it a little bit more fun. So planning the perfect party, choose a niche demographic, okay? Now, the biggest thing that I learned is that I had a client, they had sent me tons of referral business, and I'm throwing these parties and they take a lot of time and effort. And anytime you throw a party, you're like, oh, will they show? Like, are they going to come? just because I'm an extrovert, my clients, I said, why do you never come? You always send me business. Like, you guys seem to really love what we're doing. They said, just because you love people doesn't mean we love people. And so the number one thing is to find people, because if somebody's at the party that's also miserable, you want people to come there as raving fans and then to talk to each other about the great experiences they have, because then that builds that amazing party environment. You never want, like, Debbie Downer to show up to the party and talking about, world peace or what have you. You really want it to be focused on that. Always have a theme. A dinner party with no themes, just another dinner. I have been doing this I worked in hotels and I used to run events in college. I, was banquet manager and stuff like that. So this is really natural for me. If this is not your forte and you are more of a C personality, does anybody follow the disc? Because I'm going to tell you right now, can you think of my personality trait? High I. So if you're not an I and you're more of a C analytical or just D and you're just A to B, hire this out, guys. For me, it's so rewarding for me, but for some people, it's a little bit tedious. Also, don't forget, this is not about attendance. Now, you obviously have to watch your budget for any food, drink, or venue space that you're renting. But this is just to market and show a different side of you. It's like any other piece of marketing. And I've always found, earlier we talked about the 800 RSVPs that we get for agent to agent. That's fantastic, guys. But for me personally, as long as I'm getting to touch these people in a way that isn't, are you looking to buy, sell, or invest? That whole, like, if anybody took bold with KW, not to talk about KW, but that was like the big thing that they wrote home, like buy, sell, invest. And so this is a way for you to kind of touch and love on them without having to do that. And so check in. Don't just have people show up. You have got to make sure you track and check people in. And the best way we found to do this is through Eventbrite. And you can collect all of your information. And if you already invite somebody to the party and you just do a hand delivered, they may change email address that they're responding to, their phone number. So put all of that in your Eventbrite invite, because you want to know, like, oh, have they changed jobs? What if you had their work email prior to, and update this? And if you do this, this is that way for you to be able to get in touch with everyone without having to go, hey, I just wanted to know if you updated any of your personal information. It's 2024. If you could just fill out this Google form for me. So this just keeps the database alive and running, and you can go back and set all kinds of different follow-ups, because the magic really happens in the follow-up. It's not the party that was there, because you're so busy that you're going to be able to have like small conversations with everyone. So hold on, my computer froze. There we go. All right. If your party is for brand recognition, Facebook invites are okay, but won't have a follow-up plan, because remember, not everybody's on Facebook. We did a ton of I rarely go to Facebook anymore. It's more about IG, and they don't have a way to do this. You could put the link in your bio and all of that stuff with Linktree, but I think that you need to think about who you want to come to these parties. And even your seller seminars, any of that stuff, I make it a party. We're doing a seller seminar. It's selling with a slice. And so we're going to do pizza. It's like a pizza party, like old school, when you had in school, whatever. We're doing that. And we just like to make it a little bit different than that kind of monotonous, like, oh, we're doing this, that, or the other. And then we'll follow up with them with something else that comes from the same place we got the pizza. And maybe it's like, come network, a quarter later at this thing. And so putting things on Facebook is fantastic. And it could be another layer for you. But remember, not everybody, there's some people that still wish we had paper newspapers, or paper magazines and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that you're touching everybody that you want to touch for that party. Photography is great because you can post to social platforms, emails. One of the things, and I'll give you a couple things. One of our agents in Chattanooga, she and I collaborated on a party. She did a dog Grinch party. Now I'm going to tell you, dog park parties stress me out, because not everybody, I like my dogs, but some other people's dogs, it's like, calm down. So especially when you put Grinch into the mix, which seems like almost a predator for these dogs. But the thing was, they took pictures of them. Part of that Eventbrite, They also got the birthdays of the dogs, not of the people, of the dogs. And then you can send that picture on a custom birthday card with any of these custom birthday card things and just say, happy birthday, Spot, you know, da 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 da. Who's doing that? Who is sending people? I haven't gotten a dog except for my vet who's like, yeah, it's time for your rabies shot. But who's doing that? So it's just another touch after the event that can be so pivotal. And they're like, people love their dogs. I just flew yesterday and I can't, these people are like, there's more dogs on my plane now than there are people. It's out of control. And it's because they're their kids, they're their family, their fur baby. They've given them, some people use it as an emotional support thing. Well, guess what? Let me love on your emotional support. Like I said, consistency is key. People like to have a routine. I always have my annual Mardi Gras party, no matter what else happens in my business plan. That party is consistent year after year. If I said, you know what, I'm going to take this off this year, people would forget about it. People like consistency, they like certainty, and if they can't make the first one, at least they know you're doing it. And with Mardi Gras happens and not everybody celebrates except for crazy people that love to drink on a Tuesday. That piece of it, they're gonna at least be triggered to think of what that is. And so Mardi Gras comes up. Brian Oliver does that party. I forgot about it. I should have went this year. I'll get it next year. I don't care if they didn't come, as long as they remember that I had that party. So think of creative parties that you can have that aren't necessarily just pie event or the same stuff, because people are so busy. When you get busy, do you really retain all the information or exactly what you need? No. If you have a million pie parties, Christmas parties, we stopped doing our holiday party just because it was so tough to get people to stop in. I think just figuring out something that you can hold annually, whether it be a end of summer barbecue or a kickoff barbecue, you know, something like that, and offer. There's a team in Florida that I'm friends with. They do a annual barbecue, and now it's grown to 500. And when we first started talking about it, they could only get like 10 to 15 people. So over time, like, it just kept building, and they do it every year, and everybody in the community expects it. And it's a way to market to that. This is a team sport, guys. If your vendors aren't paying to play, like, you shouldn't be just paying for this and saying, here's my business. Like, they should be supporting you in some way, shape, or form. Jessica and I have put together, more Jessica, she put it together. I just throw it to people and beg for money. But talks about your events and talks about the levels of sponsorship. When we found that to be really pivotal, instead, than saying, hey, anything can help. It's not a collection plate. Say, look, if you want this at the party, mic time, branding, XYZ, this is how much you pay. Otherwise, I'll go to the next lender, or I'll go to the next person. And we never have two people that do it. Lender, attorney, we have home warranty company, we have insurance, we have all of those different, businesses that are throwing money at us to help us sponsor it. And then obviously we throw in the remaining portion of it. So make sure that these events, they grow. And the only way they grow is if your proof of success continues to be profitable for these people. And they always do if you have that loyalty, and they'll want it. And then this is the social media, my social media. So let's talk about parties, guys. Who's throwing them? What are you working with? Or is this something you're considering adding to your 2024 business plan?
So that's so funny. I was just getting supplies for our party on our pictures with Santa on Sunday or Saturday, and I hate it. I hate doing it. I hate everything about it. I hate organizing it. I like it when the people are there, but I never know how many people are going to come, because we put it out on our geo farm. How many people are going to show up? Are we going to have enough stuff? Like, it just stresses me out. So I love the hire it out. And I want to see your paper that you have for the vendors, because we tend to do a lot of it ourselves. And then we're begging for whatever scraps they can give us. But we definitely need to see your and Jess's donation request form.
Yeah. It kind of makes it, because if you say, oh, well, you're also, it's kind of a negotiation. So it really does matter that they're putting all of that together. And you're just saying, these are the three options here and let me know. And they're very different. Even the people that they get to invite from their team and stuff like that. Because remember, they might have people that they want to bring on to help network and really grow their stuff too. So I think that having that in play just makes it look a little bit more professional, and it's not just like everybody in your market's going, hey, can I have $1,000 here, or I can have 2,500. If you're like, hey, here's my, this is our sponsor packet, let me know which one you'd like to be, it's more professional and it exemplifies the process. So Matt, are you just waving? I miss you,
No,
Matt.
I'm in my car. Hey, what do you do, Brian? What do you do with like specifically title partners with RESPA and their obviously understandable hesitation with co-branding and doing all that stuff? What have you learned? Best practices.
So we have to do 50% with them. So what we donate, they also have to donate, but their co-marketing just goes on like step and repeat and stuff like that. So we found that they can't just pay for all of it. You have to, it has to be a co-brand.
Okay. Any other partners that's a concern with, like lender, same thing?
No, lender, I mean, we've never had, the thing is you have to go in equal parts with everyone. So by the time we get to that, I think our party's typically like 5,000 to 6,000 for our Mardi Gras party. This year we're actually bringing it to the house and going to spend some more money on like decor and more of that feel for it, and then charge Realtor Real Estate to pay for the house. Then that comes in. There's all kinds of creative ideas to go into it for you to move apart, but we're going to pull down the budget. But like 4,000 to 5,000, if you get enough sponsors, you're really walking away with an excellent ROI on something that you didn't have to put a lot into. But you can't have them pay for the majority, or you have to at least put in a portion to equal and match.
Cool.
Jessica, I think, put into the chat the sponsor.
I was just going to say, yeah, click on that bit.ly link, you guys. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Very,
Jessica,
very.
tonight doing she does a ton of like, this is like her forte. This is where she and we both, this was our idea for Super Social, and we started putting this together, and so we just swap ideas and things of that nature. Perfect. So these prices, I mean, you can go in and you'll see some of the people. Again, another theme, you're invited to a throwback. And what we did for this one is we asked people to submit their first headshots in real estate. And that in itself gets people excited, instead of saying, hey, some people just want to come to the party and network, and that's fine, and show up. But some people do like to send their headshots and get involved. We have an amazing crew. There's a core group of us, and then we shuffle out the guest hosts. So this has been something that, Jessica and I have kind of talked about, worked on for years. We're going on our 7th year for doing this. It all happened over a glass of wine. I'm sure it can go over coffee if you don't drink.
Oh, I love this too. It's like what you're like as a sponsor. It's not just like, hey, throw money at us, but this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, and most of our sponsors for this, I mean, if they had to go in, so depending on what you're marketing and what the party, who the demographic, if you're hosting like a recruitment event, coffee and croissants, they're happy to jump in, because you have to think. So we started upping these numbers because Vegas, hello, Matt Farnham, Vegas is an expensive place to throw a party. So when we started kind of moving into that arena, we had to really dive in and say, hey, we need these sponsors to jump in, because we used to just split it amongst 10 people. And so they even said, they're like, wait a minute, I get to touch 800 people. I can't even, like, a dinner of 10 wouldn't even touch this. And they get to go around and have conversations with each of them. And then they get the mailing list. They get the email list of everybody, all of that stuff too. So the one thing we don't like, and we make sure we tell them, is we will bring them to you. I don't want you brutally, like, marketing and dripping on them. So if you
Mhm.
can, because our loyalties are to them and we will send that. I'm happy for them to send stuff out for brand recognition, but it's not a massive hit because at the end of the day, these parties, it's a different subset of your database. It's people that don't necessarily are looking to immediately buy or sell, but you want to just keep them with your family. We call it the real tall fam, but and we've had people that community events, if you're doing that, remember those people are there for the community. They're not necessarily for your business. So it's a way to woo them to come on to your business, but it just depends on how you the kind of party and who your demographic is that you're meeting with that.
Love it. Also, I know last year in Vegas, was it this spring, 2023, we had to plan an event around your event. So
Everyone does. I think it's great. We appreciate that a lot of them have the respect to, bow
like
down.
we can't compete with that. We've got to like they're doing this right here. Well, we got to do it these hours then.
We're always we stay the official kickoff, the unofficial official kickoff party, and that's our thing. That way, we always have it, not just for the people that attend, but also for the people that are throwing stuff for themselves as well. That way, we can have that courtesy of saying,
Yeah.
"Look, keep this time," and it works best for us.
That's awesome. With the community events, because you were saying keep it about the community, what type of community events do you guys do?
So we did a dog days of summer party that we slowed down once COVID hit. That one kind of went away and we were thinking about bringing it back up. That one we had it was more just about like dog rescue. There was like a couple Girl Scouts came to get their dog badges for safety leash control. And then we just had food, like it was just a summer event that came in, but we based it around obviously the charity of raising money for dog rescue. And we did have a couple dogs that did come. So that kind of stuff isn't necessarily where you're like, you want to buy, sell, or invest. You want to buy, sell, or invest, And so really kind of making it about the community, because especially right now, it seems like the role of realtor, I always do these two things. I tell everybody, I was like, are you working in determination or are you working in desperation? When you work in desperation, you're working for you. Determination, you're working for other people, right? And so are you determined to make the community better, or is this just specifically for you? And I think right now we're going to have to challenge the consumer on like not thinking we're just in it for us, even though we are finding it a little more difficult to get to the deals. So just having that kind of mindset and being able to really continue to build that brand recognition, that brand trust, and that you are the right person that's going to help them navigate this process and also keep the community strong. Robert Mack.
Brian, that was awesome. Gosh, it's so funny. I think about the events that we've done in the past, and we're thinking about who we can hit up for some funds, and it just feels so shady when you're asking them for money. And the sponsorship package is just brilliant. I really do love that. A little backstory. So we were doing about 3 to 4 events pre-COVID, and that was the first. Like in 2019, we just started doing events and we were getting our bearings on everything. And then COVID happens and just kind of derailed us. And we haven't really been able to get back on that bandwagon. And I feel like we're kind of in analysis paralysis stage. And one of the biggest issues is what can we do? And then what's the budget? Because when we don't know the budget, that uncertainty sort of freaks me out a little bit. So how do you guys come up with the budget for events? Or do you have like this is how much we're going to spend for the year, and we're going to break it up into 3 or 4 events, and how does all that work for you guys?
So the personal company budget is so this year we'll do it at the house because we want to be able to at least monitor the liquor. So my one rule about events is everything I do in real estate is, and really life, I like real estate, not for the checks. Obviously, they help provide the life that I'm designing. But I go back to the Maya Angelou quote. They may not remember what you said. They may not remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And so start there. And then if you're doing a party, see if you can minimize the budget. right now, I think a lot of people, especially when you're asking, you know, other vendors, like everybody's watching their budget. They're watching, you know, what they're spending. It doesn't have to be this over the top, you know, you don't have to have a band and all of that. I think that's fantastic, but I do think that first of all, networking events should never have loud music where you can't hear people or you're just screaming at people. So I've seen some people who are still like doing the big over the top things. Just set an atmosphere of comfort and relaxation, because sometimes, especially right now with so much uncertainty in the market, people just want to come ask you just an off the wall question about their biggest investment. And so if you can find a space that will house that, find somebody. A lot of these caterers right now, people are pulling off of that. So they're giving some decent deals. My caterer is already starting for my Mardi Gras party. And I almost feel like I want to give him more because I know he's hurting for business. So we're all doing that. So negotiate that a little bit. The event we're doing in Orlando, that one they would not negotiate on. It's Planet Hollywood, but the bigger events, we know what the return is. So as long as I can get, you know, you have to think, and depending on your market and your price point, one deal is going to pay for whatever event you do. So if you can just one more deal, make sure you're having them invite their friends. That's less money that you even have to market to. Because remember, you could send out farming mailers all day and not get things for a few tries. Whereas you just have one person come in and they're like, and the reason they probably brought them is because they knew that they wanted to support your journey of helping people with home ownership. So it really is a faster return. So I wouldn't say money's no object, but I do know that these events work. And make sure the events aren't just like, we got to throw the event. Do one that is so meaningful. And I'm going to tell you, I openly tear up every time I look, because every single year, every event I've ever had has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I look in that crowd and I find people that have influenced my journey and the life that I've been able to build. And so if you express that and you find a way to make them feel that right there continues for you to thrive. I think this is probably the easiest thing for people to do in real estate. And that's not just because I'm an I think right now it's tough for people to find you know, certainty and gratitude and stuff like that. And I think if you can show that, you're actually you are leading the pack.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have any more questions for Brian? Okay, I have one. Where do I send my address for the Mardi Gras party?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Just realtalkrealestate.com. Just send us.
I'll get my plane ticket now.
It is fun. We had the honor of having Jessica. We had somebody who flew in for it. One of our referral partners came into. And so this year we're gonna do the food a little more it's always authentic, but we got some New Orleans people on our team and I really want to kind of cook it this year. So it's tough to get king cakes, you know, so we ship them in, but they're now like $140. It's ridiculous how much they are. So
Inflation, it's getting us all here.
that shipping cost, the cake costs $20. It's the shipping.
Oh my gosh, insane. Well, thank you so much. Rob's out. This was amazing information. Thank you for sharing that, Jess. If you guys have any questions or need Ro's parents are in Alexandria. If you guys need the link and didn't get it, just feel free to reach out to me and I can forward that to you. And everybody have a fabulous, productive day, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.